There are a lot of reasons why people get sent back to the lobby in the first couple minutes of a game. One of those reasons is poor decision making. And another one of those reasons has a lot to do with the loot that you get, but it didn't start with you getting bad loot. It started with you choosing a spot to land. So you got to look at your history. You got to look at things like where you land. And the game doesn't naturally track stats. It's not going to tell you, hey, you know what, you landed in retail 100 times and you died in the first couple of minutes. I wish that there was more advanced stat tracking just baked into the game, but there's not. And so these are the things that you're gonna have to keep record of. You may not even be a bad player at all. You might be a very good player, but there's a lot of changes being made to this game, and somebody's coming out on top. You know, the person that wins the game isn't gonna be saying this game trash, you know? Not unless they're joking. If you're winning the game, you're having a good time. And losing is one of those perpetual things that it builds up on you over time. It builds frustration, and the next game you just lose a little bit of your edge. Frustration literally wears away at confidence. It wears away at concentration, your focus. So the biggest key here is to remain calm. That's going to be the title of this video, to remain calm, because it doesn't matter what happens. If you're getting frustrated with a game, it might be a sign that you need to practice more. But what if you've practiced? What if you do nothing but creative editing courses, and you build and you 1v1 with your friends and you practice all day, but you get in the Battle Royale lobby and you get in the lobby and you get wrecked because of RNG. You don't get the weapons that you want. We talked about practicing with the bad weapons, the weapons that you die with, and this is what ties into keeping record of what happens. If you know that you go to a certain spot and you die a lot, well, one thing that you can do is land there more often. You can take the straightforward, bulldozer method and land there until you do better. Or you can just simply avoid that and go a place where you actually succeed a lot of the time. And for me, season 2, when I started playing, this was Scrub Mountain, or the mountain outside of Salty. And as the seasons went on, they added Shifty, and Shifty's just been my favorite spot. Between Shifty and Dusty, those are my top 2 spots that I love to land in Fortnite. And you got to pick a spot, because if you're frustrated, you're not going to be doing as good as if you had a clear mind. So in order to avoid frustration, don't go places that you die a lot. Don't go places that you don't like. Just don't. Go to places that you do good. Go to places on the outside of the map. It's more efficient to land somewhere like Junk Junction and have a long, healthy game and survive to the end game than to land somewhere busy and die 5 games in a row. Because you have saved so much time by simply accepting the type of player you are, your skill level, where you're at, and doing things that are going to help you. You're going to get better over time, but it's not guaranteed that you're going to get better faster than other players are getting better, and it's not guaranteed that you're going to have bad players in your lobby or good players. You never know. So what you can do to help your gameplay is eliminate frustration. If you need a break from Fortnite, if you're not doing good at the game, then you need a break from Fortnite. And this is me saying that yes, you can practice, but if you've practiced and you're still not doing good, then it might mean that your frustration is at an all-time high. And if you're frustrated, then what you're going to need is some space from the game. Play a game that you're really good at. Even if it's not a competitive shooter game, play anything. Do something that you can succeed at and have fun with. And then once you're in a better state of mind, even take a few days or a week off of Fortnite and come back to it, because getting better at the game, maybe you're just already good and the timing isn't right, the mood isn't right for you. A lot of things will go wrong if you're frustrated. A lot of things will go wrong if you haven't made up in your mind that this game is against you. If you're not succeeding and you let that frustration take over, it's gonna waste all of your efforts. You could be, the best player in the world, but frustrated, maybe you're not the best player in the world. The best player in the world, when overcome with frustration, is not the best player in the world. The only way that you can be your best is if you have a clear mind, if you're not frustrated, if you're in a slightly elevated mood, you're focused, concentrated. You're getting angry solves nothing. In fact, getting angry is going to make you have to work harder just to do the same sort of thing that someone in a good mood is doing and not even trying. It shuts down the cognitive factors that you need, the faculties in your brain that deal with decision making and risk taking, all of that when you're angry. And I don't want to say this the wrong way, but if you're young, if you're under the age of 20 and you're a male, I'm 26, and it's a lot of science behind the fact that most men don't fully mature until they're 25. And this doesn't mean that you're an immature, boyish, whatever kid. That's not what it means. What it means is that your body's still going through a lot of changes. So whenever you feel emotion, it's going to be very intense. Whenever you're mad and you're frustrated, it's going to be very intense and very compromising. And in addition to that, things that make you mad at the age of 15 maybe won't make you mad or just take over whenever you're my age. The advantage that a lot of players that are older and more seasoned have is that they have a calm mind. They've been through a lot of difficulty before, and so difficulty in Fortnite maybe isn't, putting them on edge because they've played PUBG. So age does play a factor. It's very likely that the younger you are, the more emotional of an impact this game is going to have on you. Everybody gets frustrated. Sometimes getting out of a certain situation is going to require you to think it through. If you're getting frustrated, you're going to make a lot more hasty decisions. Your decision making is going to be a little bit more sloppy. Your execution, everything, that's what frustration, that's what anger does to you. It literally weakens you. It makes you less effective. You might be more aggressive, but not getting the job done if the last game that you played is still affecting you and you start another game. You're already mad at Epic Games. You're already mad Fortnite is bad. You've died and this game is so bad. The more people get frustrated, then the worse they do. If you need to take a break and play another game, there are plenty of other games out there that you can do good at. I recommend playing Call of Duty or any other team deathmatch style game. That way you can do something good. It's not about your mechanical skill. At the point that you're frustrated, it's about your mental health. If you're trying to win the World Cup and you're practicing and practicing and practicing, playing video games and streaming and making content can actually, in some cases, be more stressful than other things. Because if you're working out, you can control what you're doing. You have complete 100% control of your body. When you're playing the game, I do want to make the distinction between things that happen in a video game and things that happen in real life. Emotions are real. Frustration is real. It has physical effects on your body, on your mind. But I do want to make a distinction. This might help you to maybe get a little less frustrated, or it might not. The main difference between things that happen in a video game and things that happen in real life, typically you have more control over things that happen in real life when it comes to training, when it comes to fitness. If you throw a punch that you've practiced 1,000 times your arm's not gonna have packet loss and high ping. You practice this punch 1,000 times. The 1,001st time that you throw it will more than likely be better than the 1,000 times that you practiced it before. So in a game, there are other factors that you have to take into account. The network quality, and there are people that have just crazy good internet, that juicy 0 ping. But you gotta consider, and maybe this will help, to be more level-headed, less frustrated. What I started to do is to try my best to just have 0 reaction. Because if you react, if you yell, if you tense up, if you get mad, your blood starts boiling, you get hot, you're angry, your concentration, your good mood, it all just goes out of the window, and you will notice that you do progressively worse. The more frustrated you get, the worse you'll do. And it's impossible to prevent. It's impossible to not get frustrated, but it is possible to not physically express it. Don't let your body know that you're mad. Don't let it know. When you die, just shrug your shoulders, smile. Even if it's a fake smile, smile, go back to the lobby. Because mentally, yes, it sucks. But don't let your physical body know that you're frustrated, because then, that sort of stress hormone starts going in your body, and it just ruins everything about what you need to do in the moment. Don't become overwhelmed with these emotions, because emotion is power, and being in a positive mood actually has good physical effects over being in a bad mood and being resentful and angry. So try to limit the amount of frustration that you physically express, and you'll start doing better in this game. And if you don't believe me, I've been playing Fortnite for a year, and every single time that I physically just, sigh with frustration and just begin to talk, get into a negative cycle, it just reinforces everything bad that's ever happened in Fortnite. And I just start to have a bad train of thought, bad mood, start arguing with teammates, and it spins out from there. Stay calm. That will help you to be the best that you can be in the moment. And you know what, if you're still dying, you're gonna die. It's gonna happen. You gotta break down the game, and so that's what we're gonna do. So in closing, I just want to say, focus on every game that you lose. Don't focus on it in a way that makes you frustrated because you just want it to go right and it doesn't, but take how you've died and remember that. Write it down. Get a piece of paper, put it next to you. Every time you die, write down how you died in detail. Don't just remember it, passively. So if you don't write these things down, then there's a good chance that after a couple of days, you might make the same mistake again. You don't want to keep making the same mistake. You want to get better and better. You're going to have to commit these things to learning. Structured learning. Write these things down. If you die in a game, get a pen and paper or pencil and paper and write down exactly how you died. But in addition to that, write down how you plan to do better. If you died because you landed in Salty and you got an AR out of the roof and you started shooting people right away and you didn't get mats, you didn't loot the house, you didn't get shield, that's one example, and it may not have happened to you. But if that did, then what you would write down is, you know what? When I land on the house, make sure I have a decent amount of mats, protect myself, look around at my surroundings. Players might be shooting me from the side, so I need to be aware of that. Just write that down. I guarantee you that at the end of the day, before you go to bed, if you read off that list, the next day, you'll have that in your memory so that you can do better. That's going to be the voice that pops into your head when you're in the same situation. Hey, remember how you died last time? But if you don't write it down, there'll be no voice and you may make the same mistake. And eventually, after dying so many times doing that, you'll get out of the habit, but you want to learn fast. You don't want to take weeks to learn. You want to take hours to learn, maybe even just a couple games to learn and improve and never make that mistake again. The difference between a professional and the common person is that professionals make mistakes. Common people make mistakes, but the professional makes the mistake once and never again. Once or twice even, but never again. That's what's going to separate you from the people out here who are just casually, you know, mulling away at this game, and the people that are making the same mistakes over and over again, dying the same way, saying I suck, but refusing to learn. I mean, even if you just play for fun, you're gonna want to have a good time. It feels good to win. It does not feel good to go back to the lobby. So even if you died in a hilarious way, losing gets to all of us. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know down in the comment section what you'd like me to cover in the future, and we'll see you next time.